Good evening, it is Saturday the 23rd of November and it is just after 8 p.m. So I've been out today, this morning, doing a private job. Collected a group from around Southport. I think there's about four collection points, and then took them over to Haydock races. And then this afternoon I've been back there at 4 o'clock to pick them up to bring them into Southport, and it was just an absolute nightmare. I've been down to the races before, but I haven't been stuck in the traffic, and this time I was. Those of you who haven't been, basically once you drive down a big long road actually into the racecourse itself, yeah, it's just an absolute nightmare. It's you know, there must be like 1,000 cars trying to get out, if not more. I got there at 5 to 4 for the pickup, and I got off, I got off the racecourse like premises an hour later, just to get back onto the road. And then obviously it was an hour into Southport, so it was around like just after 6 o'clock I think I got down here. And yeah, a little bit of a pain, a little bit delayed this morning as well. I'd picked them all up. I was on the way to pick the last guy up to then head over to Haydock, and he turns around and says, "Oh, I've left the tickets at the house." So we had to basically drive halfway back to the first drop-off point, the first collection point, and he phoned his wife, and his wife drove halfway to meet us with the tickets. So yeah, bit of messing about, but to be honest, probably what I've made on that private job is probably more than what I will make when I go onto Uber now, up until probably, I don't know, 2-3 o'clock in the morning or something. So yeah, 100% it's worth getting your operator's license, because you can earn more. Granted, the jobs are a little bit more, you know, like fewer and far between, but you know, it's something that, you know, takes time to build up your network of people, really. You know, I've had quite a few people who have used me before, and they're, you know, like repeat customers. So yeah, it's been kind of a busy day, and yeah, I'm just about to. So because I'm in Southport, I'd taken them this morning, gone home, topped up for a little bit, had some family time, gone back to Haydock, back to Southport, and then I'm basically just topping up my battery now. So yeah, it's not long left to go on this. It's on 93%. Yeah, so I'll be here for probably another 5 or 10 minutes, and I should get going probably before 8:30, I'm guessing. And yeah, I will keep you updated in a minute and let you know what's happening on Uber. So a little update. It's been quite busy, to be honest, so I haven't had much time to stop. So yeah, I've just come offline for a second. Started before, quick little job, £5.29 for 1.2 miles. Straight onto an XL, £15.18 for just over 5 miles. These are all in Southport. I haven't left Southport yet. I then had an XL job from Birkdale back into Southport. So I got there, the woman climbed in, she said, "Oh, got a little bit of a dilemma." She said, "I've put the address down as such and such a bar, but we want to go to this other bar. Oh, can you just take us there and we'll just pay you the extra?" I said, "I'll just update it on the app." "Oh, I can't see the app. Oh, can you show me?" So anyway, passed the phone over, and it's just easier to show them, and then in future, obviously, it's easier for when when they're booking with somebody else. So I showed them how to change it. She put the new bar in, accepted the new price. I said, "Right, okay, that's all good." And I'm just about to start pulling off, and then I heard her say, "Oh, cancel," and then presses cancel. So then she cancels the job. So then I had to put my foot back on the brake. I said, "Oh, you've just cancelled the job." And then it pops up saying, "I've received a £5 fee because they've cancelled the job." So she was like, oh, well, can we just pay you and you still take us?" I said, "I can't do that." I said, "You're going to have to rebook it." And I said, "And you mightn't even get me." I said, "So you might have to get out as well." So they're all laughing their head off, and she was like, "Oh, come on, Paul, you know, we're 5 menopausal women and all this." So she rebooked it, and anyway she got me again, and then so I got £8.69 to do 1.9 miles, but then I also received the £5 because because they cancelled the job. So basically they turned like an £8.60 job into like a £13 job. Yeah, so I got £13 for less than 2 miles. Oh, and a £1 tip off them, so I'll just thank them for that. And then a little £4 job for 1.6 miles. Another XL, £8 for 2.3 miles. Another XL, £6.30 for 1.7 miles. £7.61 for 3 miles. £5.32 for 2.6 miles. £4.44 for 1.7. £8.24 for 2.8 miles. And then I've just done a £6.69 for 2.3 miles. So yeah, it hasn't been too bad. I've done just under 3 hours, and I'm on 84, 82. So call it 3 hours. So yeah, it's about £28 an hour, which isn't too bad. Saying it's surging now in Southport, but I believe that as far as I can throw it, to be honest. What else have we had? I had a funny one before where I picked up a young group. Well, there was like 4 lads and a girl in the back. The lads were probably, I don't know, 18, and then a girl got in the front, or a woman. She must have been like 22, 23. And yeah, she was like, oh, she turns around, she goes, oh, so you promised me all you lads are all coming back to mine? And they were like, yeah. So then we stopped for a second at the shop while she had to go in. It was one of their stops to go and get some e-ciggies or something. And I overheard the lad saying, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Is this really happening? And I was like, what's going on here? Trying to like suss it out. So then she gets back in, and then she was like, oh yeah, I can't wait for later. And then she turned to me and says, oh yeah, by the way, these are all coming back to mine to give me one. And I was like, I beg your pardon? She was like, yeah, she said, I had them all a game of rock, paper, scissors, and I said, whoever beats me can finger me. And I was like, wow. That's like the first time I've ever heard that. So that's obviously what the lads was all talking about. And yeah, she was made up, basically saying she was going to go through with these lads. And then she went on to say, oh, I know them because my dad used to train them. He's like a bit of a football coach. I was like, oh, right, okay. And then the next thing, her dad starts ringing. So I thought, bloody hell, her dad's going to be fuming here. So then they're all talking to him. And he's saying, oh, who's that and who's this? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's such and such. And then they're shouting, oh, yeah, we're going to go back to, to have a go with her and all this. And the dad was like, oh, I don't want to be hearing this, right, I'm off. And it was so surreal. Like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm just out of touch, but basically these days you just have a game of rock, paper, scissors and you get to pull a bird, by the sounds of it. So yeah, other than that, nothing else really, nothing else too exciting. Lord Street's been shut all evening, it's just reopened, so that was a bit of a pain, because having to like re-divert, people getting picked up from one end of Lord Street and you having to re-divert all the way out to the town centre to go all the way around. That's open again now. And that's about it. Yeah, so I'll just go back online now and see what happens over the next couple of hours, and I'll give you another little update. So it's just about to turn 1:30, so it's been 2 hours since the last update. Again, still in Southport, so I haven't left here. Still quite busy, to be honest. I went on to do a 6:53 for 2.6 miles. 4.72 for 2 miles, plus a 50p tip. First time I've ever seen 50p. I can't even click thanks. 5.33 for the little 3 mile. A 3.68 for 0.9 of a mile. It's not too bad of a rate, but I don't mind doing all the little short jobs because, like I said, that's like £3.70 for less than a mile. You know, if you were offered a job for, I don't know, £30 for 10 miles, you'd be thinking, oh, happy days, I'm on £3. But then you're you know, you're 10 miles away from kind of where you're based or the area that you're working in. But it depends, you know, some people just like to drive here, there and everywhere, whereas, you know, I try my best to kind of stay where I am. And then I went on to do an £8.9 for 1.5 miles, £4.88 for 0.6 of a mile, again another good one. £11.22 for 3.7. Had an XL, £10.59 for 1.2 miles. A 4.78 for 2.6 miles. And then, why is it bunching up like that? A 4.35 for 1.2. And then that last one then, I've just dropped them off at McDonald's. £4.70 for 1.9 miles. So currently I've done just under 5 hours and I'm on 155. So I'm on just shy of £31 an hour. So yeah, not too bad of a night up to now. Just quickly go back on. Oh my god, I hate it when you come off so it knows that I've been driving, you know, for like the past 5 hours, and then it wants you to take a photograph of yourself. Like, why would it do that? Probably say it's not me now. Thanks for verifying, and it's back online apparently, but it didn't make the bleeping noise, so I haven't got much faith in that. We'll just go off and go back on. Yeah, so that's it, back online. Yeah, I'll see how it goes. It's been quite steady, to be honest. Yeah, I'll give you another update in the next hour or two. So, final update. I've just got home and it is 3 AM. Where was we before? It was 1:30. Throat's killing me. Was it 1:30? So it was late. Yeah, 1:30. So yeah, I came back online and it just seemed really quiet. So the first job I was offered was a £3.80 for 1.5 miles. And then a £5.33 for 1.5 miles, which then took me to Lord Street, which is like the main street in Southport. Oh, light on. So yeah, and then I basically drove past like the main kind of taxi rank, and throughout the whole evening there's been like 1 or 2 taxis there, because it's been quite busy. But there was like 25 plus all lined up, and that basically says straight away it's dead. So which I could tell because the 2 jobs before that were just really, yeah, they were crap, to be honest. So I thought, right, I'll head back. I'll start heading home, but I'll head home via Ormskirk, see if there's anything happening there. So I drove in towards Ormskirk and got a little £6.82 for 2.5 miles. And then I got a £10.27 for 4.6. That was a multi-drop, but they were within like half a mile of each other. And then after I dropped them off, I was about 4 minutes away from my house. So I thought I can either head back into Ormskirk and maybe do another 1 or 2 jobs before my battery runs out, or come home. So I thought I'd come home because, well, I was 4 minutes away and I couldn't be bothered. So yeah, I finished on 180 and 90 pence. And I've done 6.5 hours. So what was it? 180, 6.5, 180. So it's just shy of £28 an hour. Which, yeah, isn't too bad. Would have done more hours, however I had my private job today, so obviously I didn't get back till a little bit later on. It was kind of, with it being kind of late, yeah, kind of late afternoonish. But yeah, just to put it into like perspective a little bit, you know, I would 100% recommend to anyone to get your own operator's license. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, so like the shift that I've just done for Uber now was 6.5 hours long. I've done 26 trips, which is just over 5 hours 4 minutes of driving time, even though I've done 6.5 hours. So just call it 6.5 hours, which is giving me £180. So like, I've done my private job today, which took me about 3 hours. So that's less than half of what I've done on Uber. Yeah, because it was 3 hours. I've done 6.5 on Uber. Obviously, I haven't done 26 trips. I've done one trip with one set of passengers, and including the £10 tip they gave me, I got £170. So it's like I've almost earned in 3 hours what I've earned in 6.5 hours on Uber. So like me hourly rate for the job today was about £53 an hour, whereas I've come out on Uber to do these 26 different trips here, there and everywhere, and obviously it's down to, what was it, 28 or something, just shy of 28. So again, it's almost half. So yeah, it's a good like combination to have the two, definitely. But yeah, I think it would be almost like a real grind just to do solely just Uber. I mean, don't get me wrong, some people might be more than happy with it, but me personally, I don't mind coming out Friday, Saturday when I'm seeing figures. I mean, 180 is quite a slow Saturday night, to be honest. I'm kind of used to at least 250 on a Saturday night. But yeah, if I come out on a Friday and Saturday and average like 250 a night, it's not too bad. You know, £500 a weekend, and then anything during the week is just a little bit extra on top. But yeah, when you're able to go out and just do one private job, which equals almost a whole night shift on Uber. So yeah, obviously highly recommended to go out, get your operator's license, and yeah, it's just so much more beneficial, really. Obviously mine's starting to build more traction now. Like I said, I think I've only had it for about a month, maybe just over a month, and basically the money I've earned off that has already paid for the 5-year license, because I think the 5-year license is like £500 or something like that. But yeah, that's basically paid for that, and obviously I'm getting more and more bookings and more like repeat custom. So yeah, it's going to get to the stage where basically like some of the Uber shifts during the day, I think, well, what's the point? I can't be bothered coming out for getting anywhere between, you know, I've had anything between £0 an hour to £50 an hour. You know, it's so like volatile. But yeah, it's definitely a good thing to have as like a filler, and obviously I'd continue to do Ubering even if I got busy doing, or busier should I say, doing me private stuff. Because, you know, if I was to say like for example today I had the Haydock, so I've went and dropped them off in Haydock, and I then could have just gone straight onto Uber and started taking people back and forth, but I came home and had some family time instead, because I knew that I had the return from Haydock and then I was coming out anyway to do Uber. So it's one of the benefits, obviously, of one, doing your own private work, and two, doing Uber, because it gives you that flexibility. It's up to you what it is that you want to do. You know, if you want to go out first thing in the morning, stay out all day doing your own private jobs and doing Uber, then that's fine, you can. Or if you're like me, you just want to dip in and out of it whenever you want, again, it's perfect for that. But yeah, like I said, it just kind of puts it into perspective. It just kind of shows you, you know, how much you're losing, basically, or should I say Uber's taking in like commission, compared to what you can be earning yourself if basically if you jump through all the loopholes of getting your operator's license, which is a bit of a pain, but obviously it depends on what council it is that you're going with. But obviously, you know, you need like an address, you need this, you need that. But yeah, definitely pays off, so highly recommended. And that's about it. So it's I'll wrap that up there. I'm not going to be coming out tomorrow because I don't work Sundays, to be honest. Just off past earnings. I know I've seen some other guys like earning kind of decent money like on a Sunday, but I've been to a few places, but I like to try and stay local. And a whole lot of people just travel for miles and miles. Like one of the last customers that I had then, he said, I was talking to him and he was asking, you know, where I was, and I don't know, he seemed a little bit more clued up on it. He was like, oh, so, you know, where have you been plated and stuff like that? And he said, oh yeah, he said, like, I had a guy pick me up the other day and he was Wolverhampton plated. So I said, oh well, yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, he's from Wolverhampton, you have to cross border hard. And so I was talking to him about that. He said, oh no, he said he was from Wolverhampton. And I was like, all right. I said, what's he doing in Southport? He said, exactly. He said, I asked him the same thing. He said, apparently it's a bit too rough round there. He said, so they like to come up here. He said, and then they had another driver, I think a couple of days ago, and he's from Bolton. And he said, well, what, you know, like, why have you come to Southport to work? And he was like, oh, it's too rough in Bolton. He said, so I don't like working there. It's not that there's a problem with that. You know, obviously people are free to work wherever they want, but it just shows you how far people are willing to travel to avoid the area that they actually live in. You think it'd be easy just to move out, but yeah, it's just it's a bit crazy, really, how far people are willing to commit to drive. Like I'll keep quite close. I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't think of anything worse than logging on and thinking, right, I'm going to Liverpool city centre, which is probably just over an hour away, or I'm going to go to Manchester. Like, why would you do that? Like, if you had to do that and that was the only way to make money, then I wouldn't do this, because I just think, well, that's pointless. Like, there's nothing worse than when you have a job and obviously you have to travel to it, but then you waste like an hour every morning traveling to your job and then an hour coming home. I couldn't do that. I just could not waste like 2 hours every day of my life traveling to and from work, whereas a lot of people do. And that's basically like what a lot of the the drivers are doing, just traveling all over the country to go and find somewhere else to work, really. So anyway, that's enough waffling, and I will catch you on the next one.